What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 5th episode of the Westworld park build. I'm pretty sure it's 5th. If I'm wrong, I'll correct it in the description. Otherwise, I'm right, and suck it. Anyway, so this episode, not a whole lot that I did. Really, if you've been following along, you'll know that the last episode, or last couple, I've been working on a desert-themed portion of the park. This is all sort of supposed to be Western, but it's supposed to have different portions with different climates, and because Western United States is not necessarily just desert, but this area happens to be a desert-themed. And the one thing I wanted to do before I finished it up was I wanted to have a train station that would service this part of the park, and I literally just designed it the same way as I designed the first one, the normal one, and it's the same exact design, same exact roof design. Every part of it is exactly the same, except for the fact that it has the desert themed scenery pieces. The sand colored walls is pretty much all that's different, and that's pretty much it. I think literally the sand walls is the only difference, but it's enough to make it stand out enough to be like, oh, this is a desert themed. Obviously, if you looked at it, you're like, yeah, that belongs in the desert for sure. It belongs in Red Dead 1. Red Dead 1 was more desert than 2, I felt like, but yeah, and so basically that's pretty much what I did here. I'm just trying to use the same tricks that I used in the first one, just doing a lot of moving fences up and down and doing a lot of roof editing and all of that stuff. And the one fun trick that I did in this one is I've been using some tricks that I've been watching a lot of RCT classic YouTubers. As you can see right there, I have been, what I've been doing is kind of learning how to use, creatively use the land editing tool, because I've been seeing a lot of people who use RCT Classic, and what they'll do is a lot of times when you can't build something nice with the scenery, what you can do is you can fix it with the land and moving the land up and down. And so that's what I did here, is that the one thing about custom pathways, while they are very nice in that it's like a full tile pathway and it looks a little bit more full and it looks more like a real pathway would, the only problem is that when you move the pathway up, you don't have any supports underneath it. The game doesn't generate supports underneath it. So you have to kind of come up with a solution to make it look like it's not floating in the air. So what I do now is I actually just move the land upwards into a slope. It's a sloped land now. So that's the little trick that I learned. I'm sure many of you probably knew that already, but moving on to the meat of this video, which is I'm starting on the new section of the park finally, which is I wanted to build a Red Rock Canyon area themed place area thing. It's a Red Rock Canyon, so I felt like this would be appropriate in this park specifically. It's something I wanted to do for a while, but it's just really not easy to do, and it is very tedious and takes a long time to figure out how to get it to look the way that you want it to. So this is just me. I just tried to randomly place these wall pieces that admittedly all look pretty similar. I'm not gonna lie, I probably could have just spammed them all together and in a line and just gotten it done pretty quick, but I tried to randomize it a little bit, make it look a little bit more natural. But essentially, yeah, this is pretty much all this is all just supposed to be as natural as possible. I tried to, and the idea that I had in my mind's eye was I wanted to have a river go below it, and it would like fall into sort of a gorge thing. So there would be a river beneath it, and the plan here is to build a roller coaster in this area that will kind of connect to the desert area and will connect it to the Red Rock themed area. So so right now I haven't quite gotten there yet, but you can see I'm working on the river portion that is going to act as the gorge. And honestly, it's just sort of, it's supposed to look like it's supposed to be a Grand Canyon themed sort of area. It's not necessarily the Grand Canyon, but it's supposed to be like the Grand Canyon, we'll say. But yeah, so I pretty much just spent the rest of this episode doing some terraforming and moving pieces up and down. Very exciting stuff. As you can see, I'm just using one tile land editing tool and just randomizing the land a little bit. And that's going to be pretty much it for this episode. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe for more Roller Coaster Tycoon content. And otherwise, I will see you guys next time. Thanks.